I'm Bernie Vinzani. I'm talking to you from my studio in Whiting, Maine. I teach book arts and paper making at the University of Maine at Machias. And what I have on the table here are works from my students. I thought I would just show you some of the things that we've done in the last few years. One of the assignments I give my students when they're taking paper making course is to study old paper. And I give everybody a sheet of paper to basically sponsor for the week. They have to take care of it. They have to be able to answer questions about it at the end of every night of paper making activity. So every time they look at the piece of paper, they have to then answer a series of questions. What new things did they acquire during the day of making sheets that they learned from having this old piece? So given all that, I have a lot of historical examples that the students study. Some of them are on the table here, some tax stamps, some old sheets of paper from my history of paper making. This is a nice Watman sheet from 1898, etc. Some of the things we do, though, have to deal with watermarks and computer-generated watermarks. And so my students learn how to do the watermark sheets. This is an example of one I did for a hand paper making portfolio that was done a while back. This is all done with vinyl letters that have been painstakingly weeded out and put onto a hand mold. This is another contribution, poem I did with Emma Sovich. She actually did a poem that worked words in between what I did as a watermark. So in order to read the poem, you have to hold it up to light. My students have done broadsides. These are works done by students in the class with a workshop with Emma Sovich, who came to work in the studio. The students also work with doing their own projects. This is a centerpiece for a book that one of my students, Michelle Scarlett, made. It's one of her lino-cut trees with watermark in the sheet. This is an accordion folded book that's quite long. One of the watermark projects we did was with Carrie Cushman and her students down in Virginia. We did this for hand paper making. This watermark is the white that you see on there. It's actually laminated onto a gray base sheet. And then the poetry, the written piece I did, and they printed all this down in Virginia. So we did the paper here in Machias and sent it down there. It was finished up. We also have a project that we did with Michael Droge a year ago. And it was a piece that she was working on with people who have either overdosed or have passed away from overdose, and we had people from the area bring in something that they could say about their loved ones and also some of their clothing. So we cut the clothing up and put the clothing into the pulp and made these sheets and then printed on it through a polymer plate, printed all the things that people wrote out on a piece of paper. We had a plate made beforehand to do that. I also have here a silkscreen print that one of my students did for a book edition onto abaca and hemp pieces of paper. These are also book covers. These are very lightweight, were never used for the cover, but the actual scumbling of the pulp was made as a lamination of the paper. So anyway, that's what we're up to here in Machias. The paper making shop has been closed down at this point because of COVID. But we're still doing book arts, and I have 14 students in my class right now, and everybody has their own station. They're all distanced we have like 4 rooms in our complex, so they each have their own safe space to be in. Thank you.